What's going on, guys? JPB Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Tuesday. And for today's matchup, I'm bringing you an Adventures Prank Kids versus a Sword Soul, Rose, Tenyi, Yanzing Adventures token that my opponent is playing. So let's get on right with the gameplay. My opponent is going first and he specials out Ashuna and then straight away goes into his Adventures token engine. So I have no way to interact with the thing that my opponent is doing currently. So I have to start thinking, what could my opponent's end board be and what card can I draw into to maybe out my opponent's board? This guy puts the Griffin on the field plus goes into a Grandmaster and he's going to end up putting a Taya on the field as well after he uses Sword Soul Emergence to search for the Taya. And this was really bad for me because my outs were my Kaiju, my Raigeki, and cards like those. So let's see what I end up drawing. I end up drawing a Thunder Dragon Fusion. So with this, how can I out my opponent's board and go into my own combo as well to secure me my Butler and then use my Butler on my opponent's turn to wipe out his field? Let's see how it goes. I normal out my Lampsies, my opponent instantly proceeds to Maxi me. Once I see the Maxi, I know I can make him pop the Griffin Rider. That way, that Omni is gonna go away from the field and I will be able to go into my combo afterwards. So first off, I cross out Designate. Watch the chain link and how it goes. He's gonna use the Griffin to negate the cross out. And then I use my Call by the Grave to call by the grave the Maxi. I was really hoping for this card to not be another crossout Designate on his side, which it turned out it wasn't. So it goes through, we got rid of the Griffin negate, now we only need to worry about the Grandmaster's negate. I know this guy is going to use the Grandmaster negate on my Doodle-Doo search. Sadly, I started with a Pandemonium rather than Pranks. If I had started with Pranks in my hand, this would have been an OTK. I would have just killed my opponent this turn itself. So did not happen. So again, as I said, I was expecting the Grandmaster's negate on my Doodle-Doo search. He does exactly that, but it does not matter to us because as long as you start with either a Pandemonium or Pranks in your hand, you still have full Butler combo even if your opponent negates your first Doodle-Doo search. You just use your fancies, send the other card to the graveyard, you go into your second Doodle-Doo, activate it, and then pull out the other card you need from the graveyard, add it to your hand. That way, your Butler combo stays intact. So I'm going into my Bow Wow Bark, putting it on the field, Roxy's activate. I'm still thinking if I draw into an instant fusion, maybe I could kill my opponent this turn. Sadly, no instant fusion. So I have to use Thunder Dragon Fusion this turn to go into my Butler. Why? Because I have to get rid of this Grandmaster somehow, otherwise it's gonna be really bad for me on my next turn. So I use my Thunder Dragon Fusion, go into my Butler, and then go into battle phase. I kill off the Taya, and then use my Butler to kill off the Grandmaster as well. That way, he's only left with the Adventures token on the field. Now, this is something that I did not expect, and I did make a misplay right here. The misplay was I set my Pandemonium in the same column as the one that he had a set down card in. This card could have been an impermanence, and if this card turned out to be an impermanence, that would be really bad for me. So this is technically considered a misplay right here. Do not ever do that. Always set your Pandemonium in the rows that your opponent does not have set cards in, or they have a face-up card in. So in draw phase, I activate my Bow Wow, target 2 cards in my graveyard, add them to my hand. I knew my opponent was going to use the Dracobax effect to bounce my Butler. That's a guarantee that's going to happen. So I use my Butler in chainlink to that, banish my Meowmoo to try to pop the token. Now sadly, this card was an impermanence. Again, it did not matter to me. If I had just set this Pandemonium in any other spot aside from this specific one, I would have been able to go into my Butler again because this Dracoback would have bounced my Butler and I would have all the materials I need for the Butler combo and it would have been a Butler again and I would have wiped out his field. Granted, my Butler would have only gotten 1 pop, but that was still okay. But again, as I said, a big misplay. So with this, it happens, he imperms me, and it's in the same row as my, same column as my Pandemonium. So then he goes into the Griffin Rider again, discards 1. He's gonna try to special out Griffin, I know that. I sadly activated my Pandemonium right then and there. Even though it was in the imperm column, I completely forgot about it, even though it happened just before this. And again, as I said, it was a misplay on my part, but it's still okay. The game goes on. So my Panda gets negated. He gets the Griffin on the field. The Ashuna banishes, gets a Vishuddha on the field. Goes into battle phase, kills off my Dropsies, hits me in the face for 2k with his cards. That is still okay. I still have a combo starter card for my next turn. But I have to figure out a way to bait out this Griffin Rider somehow before I go into my combo. I cannot use my prankkids pranks to bait out the Griffin Rider. Why? Because I have a prankkids card in my hand. I can discard to go into token, to go into Predaplant Verte Anaconda. And if I use the pranks and he uses the Griffin's negate, it negates plus destroys my pranks, which I do not want happening. Pranks gives you a normal no effect token, which you can attach your Draco back to, and then use the Draco back to bounce a card on the field. You can do that, absolutely. But I did not want to do that. So first of all, the first bait I throw out is by banishing my Thunder Dragon Fusion, draw into my Fancies. Did not take the bait. Then I normal out Lamseys, attach my Draco back to it. Still did not take the bait. So this is my last bait now. I activate my Lamseys in the graveyard. Will he take the bait? So right here, he took the bait. He activates the Wandering Griffin Rider to negate my Lamseys. Thankfully, as that happened, I could now go into my actual combo. I activate Pranks, discard my Fancies, go into my Link Spider, and as you guys know, these two are considered effect monsters. We go into our Predaplant Verte Anaconda. Predaplant activates, I go into my Fusion Destiny for my DPE play. So with this DPE, I kill off the Vishuddha first, then activate DPE, pop the Predaplant, and pop the Faithful Adventure, because that is the card that keeps giving him the Griffin over and over and over. So we do that, activate Pranks, recycle 3, and our turn. In my opponent's draw phase, I activate DPE again to pop his token as well. This guy drew into a Tenyi, and he just specials it out and bumps me in the face for 1600. Now this guy could have just linked what he's doing right now. He could have done this before. He could have gone into the Monk of Tenyi and put the Vishuddha in attack to hit me in the face for 2500, leaving me with only 500 life points. But he chose to do it this way, which I was okay with. So my DPE comes back, and I drew into a Faithful Adventure. I activate Faithful Adventure, draw into my Enchantress, but I do not need all these cards. I know I have enough to lethal my opponent this turn because I can just go into my access code since I have pranks on the field plus another prankkids card in my hand. So I was going towards my access code combo, and in the middle of my combo, my opponent realized that he's about to lose the game and he just surrenders. That's going to be the end of the game, guys. If you guys do like this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to my channel for more daily prank kit video uploads, and if you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule is going to be in the video description itself for you guys to check out. This is JPBDuel signing off for today. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!